Hello everyone and welcome to a new video of this video series where we are making a Dribble clone. Now in this video we are going to start working on our image component. Okay, so in the previous video we completed our text component and now in this video we are going to start working on our image component. Okay, so in this video we are going to first make the image component and then we are also going to make the editor for image component function. Okay, so in this video we are going to do two things. Okay, so right now when I click on this, as you can see, this button is not working, so we are going to make this work. This one is working, so when I click on this we get the main editor, but this is not working. And also I'm going to remove this toggle button. Okay, so we are going to do some cleanup and then we are going to start working on this. Okay, so we have a toggle button here, so let's open this and then upload component. Let's close this and we can remove this toggle button. Okay, and now this is good. Now we are going to make this functional. When we click on this, we want the selected menu to be main menu, as we see over here. Okay, so this is actually first media component, so we can go there and this is the component. So like we did in the main editor component, so in the main text component here, like we did over here, we are going to do the same here as well. So we can just copy that and go to the first media and paste it here. Now we need to import these states here, so we can go again here and then we can not here in the main text component and we can import this or copy this and paste here and we can import this store. Okay, and we also need this entry ID. So right now we are not passing any entry ID, so we can go to the upload component. Let's scroll down and here we can pass our entry ID. So entry ID, and this will be equals to entry.id. and now let's go to this component and we can add that prop entry ID, which will be a type of string, and then we can destructure that here. Now let's save this and now we should not have any kind of problem. So let's click on this. Now we have the selected menu to be text menu, and when I click on this, this will change to, okay, so this should be main menu. Why this is not working? So I was able to figure out the cause of this problem. So when we select this one, we are not getting our sidebar menu. Instead of that, we are just getting a blank component. Okay, so the problem is coming from here. Now when we click on this, so when we actually select this part, so we are actually selecting first media component, and which is not a text component, and because of that the editor is coming to be null, and that's why we are returning null over here. So the cause is coming from here, so we can actually remove this and we can fix this. So we can go here and make a null, and then we can maybe check here if editor is null, then we are going to return null. Okay, so now with this we should be able to get our main sidebar menu here. So as you can see, we have our main sidebar menu. When we click on this, I get the text menu, and when I click on this, I get the main menu. Okay, so now this is working. So the problem was coming from this part. Okay, so we had this editor. Okay, now with this done, let's start making our image component here. So I'm going to make one more folder here, and this would be media components. Okay, and inside that I'm going to add these two components. Okay, and now I'm going to make one more component here, and that would be image component .tsx. Okay, and that's it. Now I'm going to first make this a client component, and after that I'm going to start writing the JSX, and we are going to add the functionality later. Okay, so first give this div a class name of flex call and empty 20. After that make one more div, give this a class name of, write it like this, relative over border to transition all. Okay, and duration will be of 100 milliseconds, is in max w screen md, so the size is around 768 pixels. Then mx auto to make everything in center, then rounded XL. Okay, and then we are going to have a clicked event over here. So if the clicked element, like we have in the first media, so we can go here and copy this and paste over here. Okay, and then we can also paste this state here, import this, and then we can also add this one. Okay, import the use effect, and this will require this ID which is coming from here, so we can copy this and paste here. Okay, now after that inside this div we are going to have one more div, and on clicking this we are going to set the menus here. So we can go here and import these menus from the hook. Now here set selected menu will be image, set selected menu will be image. Okay, now we are also going to open the menu, so we can write on open menu, and then we are also going to select the entry ID. So let's set selected entry ID, and here we are going to pass the entry ID which we are going to import here. Okay, entry ID which will be a type of string. Okay, now after that we are going to do one more thing, and this will actually make this clicked element true. So we can write set clicked element true. Okay, so these are the 4 things that we are going to do. Now let's close this and add the class names here. So we can write it like this: flex item center, justify center, min height of 400 pixels. Then we are going to do something with the data. So actually let's get our data here. So we can get the data using our upload data store. So we can import that here, import use upload data store. Okay, and then we can write like this: const is equals to use upload data store, and from here we are going to get okay, not get, let's see what we have. So we only have add entry and entries, so we are going to make one more action over here. So let's go to use upload data, and now this time we are going to get the data using this ID. So we can write get entry. Okay, so this will take ID, will be a type of string, and this will give us upload data. Now we can go below, add a comma, get entry, and this will take ID. Okay, and then we are going to get this, okay, and is undefined. Okay, so I think I can also get a undefined value. Okay, now let's save, go back to the image component, get entry, okay, and we can write const data or entry data, let's say entry data is equals to get entry and pass the entry ID. Okay, so we can check for if entry data dot extra 2. So let's see what is extra 2. So the extra 2 is the size of the components, so we can check for here if the extra 2 is equals to large. Okay, then we are going to make the size to be max w screen lg, and then we can actually remove this from here. Okay, otherwise max w screen md. Okay, we can actually check this here as well. So let's first write all the CSS and then we can actually move this here if needed. Okay, yeah, after this we are going to make the aspect ratio so not here, aspect to be video, then transition all is in, and duration will be of 200 milliseconds. Okay, after that we are going to check for the content. If we have the content, then we are going to make the bg of white, otherwise we are going to give it a gray color. Okay, so we can check here. If we do not have entry data dot content, okay, then we are going to make bg gray of 100 for background, otherwise we are going to give bg white, and after that rounded lg and margin of 4. Okay, now inside this div we are going to render our data, so we can write entry data dot content. First we are going to check this. If we have that, then we are going to render, otherwise we are going to have a label, so we can get that label from, I think we have in the first media. Yeah, this is it. So this will be the label. Let's write div for now here. Now inside the label here we are going to pass the type, so the type will be entry data dot type, and below this div we are going to have input, so that we can upload new images in that component. Okay, so write the input here, and type will be file, then on change handler, so this will call a function named handle file change. Okay, so actually we can go, I think, to the first media, not here. I think we have to go to the upload component, and then we can copy this. Okay, paste here, and then we can again go to the upload component, and we can copy all these. Okay, and then paste here. Okay, we have to remove this on next. Let's make the ref here, so again go to upload component and copy this and paste here. Import this use ref. We need to import this package here, so import v4 as UUID v4 from UUID. After that we can actually remove this this as well, and this as well, okay, and this as well, this as well. Okay, so now we need to change in this function. Okay, so since this is an image component, we do not need to check for the type. We can directly write this here and we can remove this. Okay, now we need to add this function which we are going to get from upload data store. So we can write here, so we can get the add entry function, and lastly we can write handle file change. Okay, we have that function, I think over here. Yes, this is the function, and on clicking this we are going to start the handle click function. Okay, so on clicking this label we are going to start this function, which eventually start this handle file change function, and because of that we will be able to get the image. Okay, now here we are only going to allow image, since this is an image component, so we are going to write image slash and star. All kind of images we are going to allow here. Now let's give this a class name here. So we can make this hidden, we do not need to actually show this, and that's it. Now here we are going to render our image component, so we can import. Okay, so this is correct almost. Let's write it like this, and so we have our data and alt. So the alt will be entry data dot extra one. I think this one is the alt value, and then remove these classes, and we are going to have rounded XL here, max w full, can h auto. Okay, so with this we are done with our render part and also this label part. Now also we want to drag and drop here, so like we did in the upload component, like we have here these functions, we can copy this and go to the image component, and then we can just paste it here. Okay, now let's format this a little bit. Now after that we are going to add this plus sign so that we can add new component just below this component. Okay, so below this div, let's collapse this. We are going to have one more div here. Okay, and we are going to have the plus sign, so we can get that from here. We want this, copy this, then paste here, and let's remove this. So with this actually we are done with our image component. This is all we have to do in this component, and if we find any problem we can obviously fix that. So now let's go to the browser, refresh the page. Okay, and one more thing, let's go to our sidebar menu. So using this we will be able to add a new image component. So we have basic text component, and then we are going to have our image component. So like we did here in the secondary component, as you can see here, we added our editor. Similarly we are going to add a new component when clicking on this image. Okay, so this is coming from this div. Okay, so I can add on link handler here. Okay, let me collapse this. So as you can see, this is the div I'm talking about, in which we have image over here. So on clicking this we can add the image component. So we can write it like this. This will be the function. Now let's copy this, let's go above, and let's make that function. So at const, paste it here. Now this will add the entry, so we can copy and paste here. Now here, instead of new editor, we have to generate our own ID, so we can actually go to upload data and okay, so not here, I think in the editor we can copy this and then we can go to the sidebar menu. Okay, so let's go above, import that, import v4 as uuid v4 from uuid. Okay, now let's go below and this will be uuid v4. Okay, and now we can pass the id here and then the type of component will be image component, and I think that's it for this one. Now we have added our component. Now we are going to render the component, so we need to go to upload component, close this one. Now we are going to add one more condition here. So else if the entry type is equals to image, then we are going to entry type, this should be image, so then we are going to return the image component. Okay, now this will take first key will be entry.id and then entry id. Okay, this will be entry.id. now let's save, refresh the page, let's choose this image. Okay, now on clicking this I get the main sidebar menu. Now when I click on this, as you can see, I was able to add our image component here, and now when I click on this, now this menu changes, but okay, so when I click on this, our import option is not opening. So let's go to the image component. Okay, so the problem was that I did not add this ref inside the input. Okay, so we need to add that ref here. Ref will be file input ref. Now let's save, and now when I click on this, as you can see, now I am able to upload new images and only images are allowed here. Okay, so let's click this one, open. Okay, so we are handling the file here and actually we are adding a new entry. So I think okay, so as you can see, we are adding a new entry here, but we need to actually update our entry here. So we are going to make one more function here, okay, inside the upload data. So I'm going to make function one by one as we need, not all at once, since by this way you will be able to understand more, and you will also understand why I am adding that particular function and how this is going to be used in this whole application. Okay, so now we are going to add one more function, and that would be update entry. Okay, now this will take the id as a string and then content. Okay, so content will be string or a null value. Then we are going to have extra one, which will be optional, and this will be type of string. Then extra 2, and this will be optional as well, and type will be string, and that's it. Okay, so we are going to need these parameters here, and then we are going to return, which will be void. So we are not going to return anything. Okay, and now let's define our update entry function. So this will return void as we have defined here, and we have id, content, extra 1, extra 2. So we can write it like this here: id, content, extra 1, extra 2, and then write the function. Okay, now here we are going to set the state. Okay, now inside this we are going to have all the entries. We are going to get the entries from our state, then we are going to map over this. We are going to check all the entry one by one. So if the entry dot id equals to id, then we are going to do some changes in that entry. First we are going to spread the entry, and then we are going to change the content extra1 and extra2. okay, and otherwise if we do not find that entry, then we are going to actually return that same entry. And since these can be undefined, we are going to give some default value like empty string, and now we do not have any kind of problem. So now we can save this, close this, go to the image component, and now here we are going to import the update entry function and then use it here, update entry. Now we are going to pass the id, then we do not need to pass the type here, we are only going to pass the content, then extra1 and extra2. So yeah, so this will be the format. Now let's save this, and now we do not need to change anything here. Now let's go here, refresh the page, let's add something. After that we can add a new image component. Okay, and now when I click on this, we get this pop-up. Now we can select this image. Okay, so we should have images now. So we have 2 entries here. Now we have 3 entries here. Okay, so first one is correct. Okay, so why this is not working? The update function is not working. Update entry, we are going to pass the id, then the content, which is in this case the URL, then these extra1 and extra2. Okay, so I was able to solve this problem, and the problem was coming from this id. I was actually passing the wrong id here, and because of that we were not able to find the current entry here, and because of that we were not able to update that entry. So I was actually passing the wrong id over here, so that was the problem. Now I can just remove this. Okay, and we can write it like this. Now what is the problem now? Yeah, we can remove this. Yeah, okay, now there is no problem. So we are back to the original code. Now we were passing the wrong id here, and the reason was that, so I was actually generating a new id, and then I was passing that id, which was completely new id, and there was no entry with that id. So that was a problem. Instead of that, I need to pass the entry id over here, and that should solve the problem. Okay, so now let's refresh this, and now add an image, add a component here. Now let's add this image, and now as you can see, now we have our image over here, and this is completely working, and that's what we wanted. Okay, so actually I wasted my 1 hour on this simple problem. So yeah, okay, and as you can see, now we have one more problem, that when I add my component here, it actually adds over here. So now let's fix that as well. So we can go to the sidebar menu, and then we can pass the after id here. So that would be selected entry id. So entry id is actually after id is last before that we need to pass all these things. So we can pass the null value for content, empty string for extra1, and empty string for extra2. Okay, and now this should not cause any problem. Now let's save. Okay, and now let's select this point, and now when I click on this, and now as you can see the new component was added just below this image. Okay, so that's what we wanted. Now I can add over here, then I can add over here. Okay, so let's first add the image here, and now if I click on this, add an image, and as you can see now we have another component, image component, between these two images. So these buttons are working, this sidebar menu button is working. Now let's try to drag and drop some images. Okay, so now I can drag that here, and as you can see this is also working. Let's drag this one, and this is also working. So everything is working. Now one thing that I want to add here is that when I add the entry, okay, so that is correct, but when I update the image component I want this to be small, not large. Okay, so now when I add a new image, the size does not get bigger, as you can see, and that's what we want. So initially we only want that this image to be larger, or this media to be larger, and everything else should be in smaller sizes, and later we can actually adjust the size using this button. Okay, so now we are done with our image component. Okay, now we are going to work on the image components sidebar menu so that we can edit this component using this menu. Okay, so we can actually add all text, we can change the layout, and also we can change the media that we have over here. Okay, so all that we want here. So now let's work on this sidebar menu. Okay, so to work on this we have to go to the other media here. As you can see we have all these functions. Now we actually need to just copy and paste some functions from our upload component and from image component inside the other media. Okay, so first will be to actually, on clicking this, we need to open that file, and then from that we can select our images or videos. So we can just write on click, then go to the image component, and this will start this function. So copy this, paste here. Now again go here, we need to copy all this, okay, and paste over here. Okay, now we need to add a ref, so we can go here, copy this, paste here. Okay, import this ref. Now we need to add our update entry, and we also need this entry ID, which we can get from selected menu ID. So we can get const use menu store, and then we can write selected entry ID. Okay, and here we can pass that selected entry ID. Then we need this update entry, so we can get that as well. Use upload data store, and we need update entry ID. Now let's go below and add this ref here. So where is this? Okay, so the ref will be here. Okay, so actually this function should not be here, this should be over here. Okay, so now this is good. After that we need all these functions in this div. Okay, so when we drag and drop in this div, we can get the file. Okay, so again go to the image component and copy all this and then paste here. Okay, now after that, yeah, let's test this out if this is working or not. So now let's change the image to this image. Okay, so this is not working as I want to. Okay, so handle file change function. Okay, so I need to add this first here. Okay, on change and then handle file change function, not this one, handle file change. Okay, now let's save. Okay, so this is working. As you can see, now we have changed the image, but this is opening the finder 2 times, which we do not want. Okay, so let's go above, handle file change function. Let's see what could be the problem here. Before that, let's try to drag and drop here. Downloads, this time this picture. Okay, so this is working and this is working quite good. Okay, so the drag and drop is working, only the change function is giving me the problem. So let's fix that. Okay, so I was able to solve the problem. Actually we need to make this input outside this label. Okay, and also we had a label over here just below this div. We need to remove that as well. Okay, and we can move this on click handler function to this label. Now let's save, and now this should work. Okay, and now we are able to change the images without reopening our finder. Okay, now we are going to show our selected image over here. Right now I'm passing the data here, but it is null, so we are not going to pass the data, and also the type here. So we are going to just remove this as well. Okay, go to the sidebar menu, let's go below, and we can remove all this. Okay, and here as well. Now here we are going to get the selected entry ID, which we already have, and we are going to get the entry using this selected entry ID. Okay, so we can write const entry data is equals to get entry and pass the selected entry ID. Okay, and then we can check here entry ID dot content, entry ID dot data, sorry, type, entry data dot content, entry data dot type, and entry data dot date content. Okay, similarly here as well, this will be entry data dot type. Now let's save and go back here, and as you can see we have our image. Okay, now we are going to work on this remove button. So on clicking this, we are going to remove this image. So we can write remove data and go above and define that function const remove data. Okay, and inside that we are going to just update the entry, pass the selected entry data, entry ID, and the content will be null. so we can just pass this null value, and that will do the job. Now let's save, and when I click on this, as you can see, now we do not have the content. Okay, so now this is working. Lastly, we are going to update this alt text and layout value. Okay, so this will be inside our sidebar menu, so go there, and inside the image media we have alt text. So on change, this will update our alt text. This will be the function const. Okay, we can write it like this. Now we have selected entry ID, so we are just going to update. Let's import that function here. From here, update data entry, update data entry, then pass the ID, which will be selected entry ID. The alt text is actually the extra one value, so the content will be same, so we are not going to change the content. So first we need to get the content here. So const data is equals to get data. Let's go above and import that. Get entry, pass the selected ID. Then here we are going to pass data dot content, and then the extra one value, which will be our event. So we can pass e, and this will be type of react dot change event, HTML input element, and this will be event dot target dot value. Let's go below, and we can write update alt text. Now let's save and see if this is working or not. So we can write hello world. Let's open this, and in the image we have extra one hello world, which is our alt text. Let me confirm that. So extra one is alt text, so this is correct. So with this we are also able to change the alt text. Now last thing is to change the layout. So let's go here, and on clicking this we are going to change the layout. So on click we can write make small, and we can copy this and paste here, and this will be make large. Okay, now let's go above and define those functions. So we can write const make small, okay, and then duplicate this. Then we are going to have make large. Okay, I think make large. Let's go above. First we are going to get our data in both functions, and then we are going to update the data. So the content will be content, alt value will be data dot extra one, and then extra two will be small. Similarly we can copy this and paste here, and this will be large. Now let's save, go back here. Now if I click on this, this is already small. When I click on this, as you can see, this gets large. Okay, now let's also highlight this. So let's go below in the image here. So we need to get the data. So we have data over here. Let's write it outside here. Okay, this will be more useful. Now we can access the data everywhere. Now let's go below, and if the data dot extra 2, okay, if this is large, sorry, small, then we are going to make the border to purple 500, otherwise we are going to do nothing. Okay, now we can copy this and then paste here, and this will be for large. Now as you can see, this is working, and this is what we wanted. We can change the alt text, part 1, we can remove the image, we can change the image. Okay, so we can do everything, and this is also works. And with that, we are done with our image component. Now in the next video, we are going to start working on the video component, which will be almost similar to this, so that will not take much time. Okay, now one thing here, let's make the text of this input to small, so text sm, and we can remove this, not small, I think base will be better, text base. Yeah, and let's make w full. Yeah, okay, so with this we are done with our image component, and in the next video we are going to start working on our video component. Okay.